Hey, 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 everybody. Great morning, great morning, great morning. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Hey, 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 you guys. Great morning. Let me know who's here and where you're tuning in from. Who's here and where you're tuning in from. I'm super excited. We're talking about protecting your peace. Look, let me tell you something. This 21-day fast has been amazing. And we are currently on day number 7. I'm excited about it. Look, day number 7, peace. We're talking about peace. And the scripture for today, the devotion for today, is from John 14:27. I'm going to read from the New Living Translation. It says, I am leaving you with a gift, peace of mind and heart. My God. Wait, y'all. Wait. The Apostle John said, I am leaving you with a gift, peace of mind and heart. And the peace I give is a gift the world cannot give. So don't be troubled or afraid. So here, Jesus is letting them know that when he leaves, he's leaving a gift. Hey, Kentucky in the house. He's leaving a gift, and it's a gift that no one can take away, not just peace of mind. See, let me say something, because I really want to get this out. I promise you, you guys, I just had a whole revelation with this scripture, because when I look at it, I normally think of, and I'm going to be honest with you, I normally think of peace of mind. That's what I think of. But let me tell you what just stood out to me. Hold on. Okay. Let me tell you. Um, Hold on. Because I'm telling you, God is trying to tell us something. Hold on. Okay. So let me tell you something, and why this is so significant to me. Um, my heart has been vexed. My heart has been vexed. Um, I normally do pretty good when it comes to my mind and trying to keep my mind together, right? I do my affirmations. I tend to focus on the positive. I tend to be a pretty positive person. Like, that's just who I am. It's how I show up. It's how I choose to exist in the world. But my heart has been vexed. And the thing about a vexed heart is this: because I care about people, I care about people's feelings, I care about situations. Um, and not, I want y'all to hear me. I care, but I don't care so much that I'm trying to figure out how to say it, because y'all know I'll be quick to say, I do not care, right? But I care about people. And even when people have thought and assumed that I didn't care because I made a decision that to them suggested that I didn't care or I didn't care enough, It didn't mean that I didn't care at all. It simply meant that my care for them or someone else or their feelings was not going to stop me from doing what's necessary for me. Like, and I think that's a trap that we get pulled into. But let me talk about my heart. I have a heart for people, and people who really know me know that. Um, and because of some of the things that I've gone through, there's some things that I don't do well with. Um, I don't do well with people not being honest. I don't do well with that because I feel like that's the least you can do in life is show up authentically and be honest, right? So being honest is a major value for me. It's a major core value for me, right? Particularly as it relates to things that affect other people. Okay. The other thing is, I really feel a way about sometimes the things that women do to men. I feel a way about that. And I don't know exactly where that has come from, but I've been like that. Like it probably because I hung out with the guys more than I hung out with the girls because I didn't like some of the mess that girls did. Like I just felt like girls would be too messy. They would create unnecessary drama. Like it ain't that serious. And it's probably that I carry um some masculine energy, right? And I carry quite a bit of masculine energy. And I'm not saying that, I'm a man or I want to be a man or anything like that. Just some stuff. I tend to move more like guys do, okay, than like girls do. Um, and so there's some things that women do that I just be like, that's foul. Like, that's foul. There's no way of making it not foul, right? I've always prided myself on making sure that the fathers of my children had an opportunity to know them, whether they took it or not, whether they carried it through or not. Like I made sure that I did my part not to be that baby mama that interfered, not to be that baby mama that messed up their relationships, not to be that baby mama that denied them the opportunity to know or spend time with their child. Like I was real deliberate about that. In fact, I remember going above and beyond to do that. I remember establishing or at least trying to establish relationships with their girlfriends, wives, significant others, so that they would know I don't want him. I don't want him. And not that he's a bad person, but he wasn't the person for me. So I need you to know that I don't want him. And I also want you to know that I'm not going to interfere with y'all. I'm I'm not trying to come in between y'all. I want y'all to be good, right? I also want you to be good to my child and my children. Okay. That was important to me. So I can remember people not understanding. Like it seems crazy and it seems weird. Now, there was a time I remember with my first son, that was a process. Now, and I ain't gonna lie about that one. That one was a process. And not because I wanted to be with his daddy. Like I knew that we were not going to work, but that one was a process in the beginning. Um, but my thing was, and I always told my boys this, my kids this, if your daddy is with someone and you want to call that woman mama, I don't have a problem with that because I know who I am. See, I don't have to fight with nobody else for a position because I'm secure in me. Like I know who I am and I know who I am in my children's lives, right? If there's someone else that comes in their life that functions in that mother role and they feel close enough to that person that they want to call them mama, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't take anything away from me. It does not diminish me. Okay. So when I see women use their kids as pawns, it's some bull. When I see women not being honest about who the daddy is, that bothers me. When I see women who um, find ways to manipulate the children, to make the children a problem for the daddy, it bothers me. Now, I'm not saying that as women, most women just do that intentionally, but I think that sometimes subconsciously, especially when we can't have a man, there's some things that we began to do. Now, listen, I need y'all to hear what I'm saying because I'm going somewhere with this. My heart goes out to men. Now, are there some men that are jacked up? There are. Are there some men that don't want to be fathers? There are. But Black women, sisters, women, period, we got to do better. Because the sad thing is, the ones injured by it is the children. Yeah, you affect that man, but the one you really hurt is your child. Anytime children can't establish the relationship with their father that they need to establish, there's going to be some fallout behind that. There are going to be some consequences and some repercussions. And I'm talking about sons and daughters. You know, we often hear people talk about how our boys need their father. Well, girls need their father too. And if you don't believe me, pay attention to how girls who don't have their father or don't have the relationship that they want with their father, how they respond and how they show up in the world. They often end up starting to have sex early, being promiscuous. Why? Because they're looking for daddy's love, period. Like, that's how it shows up. For those boys, there are so many challenges and so many ways that it can go that are not good. Okay. One, when father is not there, when daddy is not there, those boys often don't know how to establish their identity, because when you're growing up, you're supposed to be able to find your identity in the parent that looks like you, right? Now, understand what I'm saying. You can have other people in that child's life that fulfill those functions, but normally that's what happens, right? The child looks for the parent most like them and begins to take on their characteristics. And when that parent is not there, even when someone else is there, there is a gap and a hole in that child's life. And they have trouble. So with our boys, it means that they either become hyper masculine because there's not a man there. And as women, sometimes what we do as mothers is we tell them, oh, you the man of the house. That little boy is not the man of the house, and stop telling him that. Because when a real man show up, he gonna be thinking he the man of the house. So he gonna be trying to act like the man of the house. And he's gonna discover that he really wasn't the man of the house when a man shows up. Now they've got conflict because you put him in a position that he was not created to occupy. There's no peace in that. See, we wonder why we don't have peace. A lot of times we don't have peace because we have unresolved issues from our childhood. And until we begin to resolve those issues, we're going to find ourselves repeating patterns and trying to solve things in other relationships instead of the relationship that it needs to be solved in. Unfortunately, sometimes your parents have gone on. You don't have those people alive to address that with. Well, then that's when you got to do some other things. You need to write a letter to that particular parent and say what you need to say to them. And then you've got to go through a process of forgiving them and forgiving you. But forgiveness is the key. I promise you, forgiveness is the key to your breakthrough and to your peace. So when I tell y'all that this scripture hit me a little differently today, because it talks about not only peace of mind, but peace of heart. When you suffer from a broken heart, you very rarely have peace because your heart is broken into what seems like pieces. You don't have peace, you have pieces, right? And so you've got these pieces and you don't know what to do with them, and you don't know where to put them or how to navigate them or how to manage them. And it seems as though you can't pull the pieces together to get peace. Well, I'm going to take you back. It always goes back to forgiveness. And not just forgiveness of someone else, but also forgiveness of yourself. You see, I find myself in a situation that I didn't create, but I have to deal with. And a lot of times that's what happens in life. You didn't create the situation, but you're left to deal with it. You're left holding the bag. You're left to figure it out. You're left to navigate it. And so now you're trying to navigate something where you may never get the full story. You may never know the whole truth. Why? Because truth is always based on perspective. You know, they say there are always three sides to every story: his side, her side, and the truth. And you often can't get to the truth. Their side, your side, and the truth. And you very often can't get to the truth because it's based on your perspective. And when you talk about perspectives, you're talking about the lenses that people see things through, which is affected by how they grew up, their experiences in life, the traumas they may have experienced help to shape how a person views a thing. But at the end of the day, those things that you can't change, those things that you can't control, you got to forgive and work to move on and to move forward. I've been having lots of conversations about forgiveness, and I get it. I'm never going to tell you that forgiving is easy. What I will always tell you is forgiving is necessary. And it is sometimes in that forgiveness that's the only place that you're going to find peace. It's the only place. And sometimes the first person that you got to forgive is you. Some things are not your fault, but you feel like they're your fault. Because you're the fixer, you take on burdens that are not your burdens. A friend of mine recently told me, like last night, he said to me, "You're not the glue. You're not the glue. Stop trying to be the glue." What does that mean? So I'm a person, I like peace, and I love family. And much like Rodney King, I say, why can't we all just get along? So, I always try to do my part to facilitate that. But the truth is that there are times when I can't, and I can't fix it. I can't make it happen. I'd love to. I'd love to just, wave a magic wand and everybody get along and everybody be good. But that's not the way it works. The way it works is that we have to face our stuff and deal with our stuff, and we have to work through things. The quickest way to get to the other side of a thing is to go through it, not around it. And we've learned a pattern of survival, because that's what it is. It's just how we survive, where we just go around things because we think it's easier to go around it. Yeah, going through it may be more challenging for you, but that's where you're going to get to your peace, your real peace, your true peace, your peace that can't be destroyed, your peace that won't be disrupted, the peace that you can stand on. So when life is happening to you and you realize and discover that you can't change people, all you can do is change you, then you can deal with life a little bit differently. When Jesus said, "I am leaving you with a gift, peace of mind and heart. And the peace I give is a gift the world cannot give. Drinking can't give it to you. Drugs can't give it to you. Sex can't give it to you. Eating can't give it to you. Relationships can't give it to you. Like, only He can. So don't be troubled or afraid." Truth is, I've been afraid. And I think this journey has brought up some fears that I didn't realize were um so present. I've been afraid that my new family wouldn't accept me, or I would fail as a big sister, as a daughter, um, that I wouldn't be enough. Um, that I'd wake up and my daddy would be gone too soon. Um, that I'd never know the truth of why it happened the way it happened. And that's real. Yes, I'm excited and I love my family. My daddy's amazing. And in some ways, I think it makes it worse or harder for me sometimes because I can't remember life without it. And I don't want to know life without it. And I want people to be encouraged and inspired and all of that. And that's great. But I also want you to know that this is a real journey. Like there's real stuff, real emotions that occur, you know, or you don't want to push yourself off on people or um, try too hard. But people always think that I'm not real. I don't know. And I think part of it is because I love on people so much. People think, oh, that can't be real. Or I smile so much. They're like, oh, why is she smiling? But I choose. I choose joy. I choose peace. I could definitely pop off. I promise you. I know how to pop off. I know how to give you all of it. But man, I want peace and joy, and I want to live in a space of love, and it's my choice. Like that's what I choose. Now if you want something different, like I can give it to you, but I'm not going to stay there. I'm going to give you enough for you to know back the bleep up off me, and then I'm going to go back to just loving and being me. If you just want me the recipient of all of this love, okay? But man, I tell you, people spend so much time trying to make you feel guilty. Guilty for being happy, guilty for how you deal with stuff, guilty for smiling, guilty for moving, guilty for accepting family, guilty for um not believing a story or believing a story. Like, listen, people are always going to try to make you feel guilty. Guilty for having a new daddy. What the come on now. I didn't do this. Listen, honestly, do you think that I would have chosen to wait 55 years to discover who my biological father was? Do you think that I would want to do something to damage the daddy that took care of me for 55 years? Come on now. Come on. Can we be real? But am I going to deny the fact that I'm happy and excited to have my daddy? I'm not. Does it take anything away from my other daddy? It doesn't. But are so limited in the notion of love and what love can do and how love exists, that for them, me loving my daddy somehow diminishes, who my other daddy for 55 years was in my life. Norman Hines will always be my daddy. That man will always be my daddy. He raised me from the time that I was a baby. And when I was a baby, he got me and he took care of me. Nothing takes that away from him. He was my daddy for 55 years. And because I am loving my biological father, it does not take anything away from him. It doesn't. And how merciful is God that he would wait until he transitioned for this to even come out. That is God's grace and his mercy. So to my family, on the Hines side, y'all will always be my family unless you choose to do something different. Now that is what it is. But I'm not going to not embrace my biological father, who had no choice in this. He didn't get a say. He didn't get a choice. He didn't choose this. He simply is a victim of circumstances. As am I. And my mother could be a victim of circumstances as well. You understand? I don't even freaking know. I don't know. And for someone who has to know stuff, can you imagine the torment? It torments me that I don't know. But it is what it is. So, henceforth, now and forever, I've got to accept the fact that I may never know all of the specifics of what transpired and why things transpired the way they did. That's just the reality. So I have to release my need to know so that I can forgive and I can move forward in peace. You all, most of the time we don't know the whole story. Most of the time we don't. Particularly when it deals with our parents. Why? Because they're our parents. And we don't want to think certain things or believe certain things about them. We don't want to hold them accountable. Or we selectively hold them accountable. We selective in who we hold accountable for what they chose and what they did. Look, I can't change a decision ever made as it related to me that came outside of me. I can't change that. What I can change is how I respond to it, how I deal with it, and how I move forward in it. Will everybody get it and understand and appreciate it? They won't. But that's not what's important. What's important is that I make peace, that I'm able to move forward and embrace and enjoy without fear of everything disappearing. So that means that, yes, I've got to deal with the forgiveness, but I also have to face the fact that I'm feeling some fear. And fear often produces anxiety, and anxiety affects our thought processes, and our thought processes affect how we move and how we show up. And we begin to create and manifest the very thing that we're afraid of through our fear, right? Through our anxiety. So I have to shift my mind and accept the peace of God in my mind and my heart, and know that love covers a multitude of sins. Love, true love, covers a multitude of sins. And so I have to love harder. I have to forgive more. And I have to move forward. but I can't do it if I don't recognize it. So this is my acknowledgement of what I'm feeling so that I can say it out loud, so that I can face it and address it, so that I can be honest with me and with you. Because I promise you, there's some things in your life that you need to be honest with you about. And then forgive. Forgive others, forgive yourself, and move forward. You can stay where you are, stuck, frustrated, just all of that. Or you can choose. And I choose love. I choose forgiveness. I choose compassion. I choose that, even when it doesn't look the way you think it should. It's my choice. That's how I show up. So today, hold on to the peace that surpasses all understanding. Peace of mind and peace of heart that the world didn't give you and the world can't take it away. Translation: circumstances can't take your peace unless you give it to them. So, what are you choosing? As for me, I choose a life of peace. You all, I pray that this word blessed you. I pray that you have been impacted by this word, that it spoke to something deep in you that you didn't even know existed, and it encouraged you to take your journey honestly and move forward, doing what you need to do, because you're the only one that you can control. I love you guys to life and life more abundant. Have an amazing, incredible, epic, and peaceful day. Be blessed. Mwah.